Scrappin with Sheri. I'm excited to welcome you back for another sketch from the virtual crops from January 2025. So let's get busy and see if we can do this virtual crop number 4. Now when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing some background papers, a really thin border that goes across the top, but that border is broken up by a piece of paper that goes down through the middle of our left-hand page. Then we've got some type of border maker, cartridge, whatever along the bottom. And it's pretty simple. I don't have photos for this, but I will be putting together the page so you can see how quickly it'll come together. Now I'm still using Noteworthy Days. And I've got to tell you, this is my favorite piece in that whole collection because this one piece of paper ties together every color in the collection. I am working off this scrap and this piece of paper, and that's all I have left. But I'm going to use this to make the little borders across the top and this stripe down through here. I felt like that would tie everything else that I do together. Now I've pulled these browns from the tonal pack. It's got a beautiful blue on the back, but I'm going to go with the browns. These are going to be my background pages. So for this, I need this cut into 1/2-inch strips that are going to go across the top here. So I just need to cut 2 1/2-inch strips. And if you're really working off scraps and you don't have a lot, one of those only has to be 6 inches long. So if that makes a difference, that's very helpful to you. Now when I do something like this and it's really small, there are a couple of things you could do. You can use use your repositionable tape and stick this to your trimmer. But I tend to lay my arm down very carefully and then cut up, then cut down, so I don't accidentally slide this little bitty piece that I'm working with. And because I had enough of that paper, I'm going to go ahead and put this across the top of my 2 pages because I know that's where it goes. I'll tell you, these pages go really, really fast when you don't have any pictures to put on them already. But I do know with this collection and the color scheme in it, there are going to be so many pictures in my world that are going to match it. So I'm excited to get some pages pre-made while I'm away from home. And you could use your repositionable tape on this just as easily. I just have my regular tape right there handy, so I'm going with that. I don't know if you've seen yet that Creative Memories is offering a giant tape dispenser. It just came out this week. I'm excited to get one in my shipment to see what it works like or how it works. I think it's going to be a test case. I think they're checking to see how people like them, how they sell. It's not going to be available permanently right now, but we're hoping that if people like it, it'll come back in the future. Now on this paper, this is the same as that. I don't mind that. I'm going to be doing a 6-inch strip, whatever you want to call it. On this paper, I'm going to be using a 6x12 piece of paper. So I just need to cut that in half. That gives me one more half left, and that's all I've got left of that paper that I absolutely love. And this one is going right on the edge of my left-hand page. It just fits top to bottom. Now, initially, I was thinking, oh, that messes up the fact that I want to do a border punch along the bottom. Well, it doesn't, because the border punch on this side of the page is only going to be a 6-inch border anyway. So in going back and looking at our sketch, I mean, remember, I don't have photos, and there's going to be photos here, all over the place. There are mats right here, but I'm going to wait until I do my border along the bottom before I put those mats on. And I'm going to be doing that border using the slide reel decorative border punch. This came out at the same time that the Noteworthy Days collection came out. So I thought it would be fun to use it. I have not played with this one before. So remember, when we're using these border punches, we line up first on the black line. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up on the black line. And this one is one where it has the little triangle. Because this pattern repeats very quickly, you're going to have to line the triangle up as well. Because if you try to just line up one of these circles, you're going to get it off. I can promise you that you will. So be sure you line up the circle on the blue and line up the triangle along the bottom. And that's going to give us this nice little punch. If you are of a certain age, this punch probably brings back all the feels of the old Viewmasters. I loved my Viewmaster. I was an avid reader, but Viewmaster just took me to places that I couldn't even imagine. And I thought Viewmasters were the greatest thing. So I was really excited to see this punch that looks like a Viewmaster. Remember, we're lining up first on the black line. Then we're going to slide down and make sure we get the triangle lined up. Now, something I didn't tell you initially when I started using this punch is when you get a brand new punch and it's still in the box, sometimes there is an oil on the punch that they use just to lubricate it, to get it ready for shipping. And oftentimes you'll see a good bit of that oil, and you'll need to punch off on some scrap paper before you start doing your page. I don't really see any oil on this one. It would be easy enough for me to just flip my paper over if I did have some on there, but this one seems to be okay. But just keep that in mind. If you see something that looks wet as you're punching your first punches, just be aware that it's the oil that they use to lubricate those to get them ready for shipping. I am going to use my repo tape on this. Now, every little piece of this doesn't have to be covered because you know me, it'll be in a page protector pretty quickly. And I'm just going to line this up right along the bottom edge. Now, our sketch shows a border, perhaps with a background behind it. I didn't really want to add anything else to this page. I'm nearing the end of my collection on the Noteworthy Days because I have used it for so many little pages, challenges, different things lately. So I don't really want to use more than I have to, which means I don't want another piece behind there. This paper is going to be, or this layout is going to be a really simple one. Look at that. Wrong tape. Fortunately, I only need 6 inches of that anyway. Do you ever just pick up the wrong tape and, oh, that's just so frustrating. I usually try to keep them in different colored cases, but in my travel, I didn't have a different colored case, so yes, I did keep a travel collection of stuff ready to go. Most of the time when I travel anywhere, my scrapbook stuff goes with me. So I have kind of a go bag with most everything I use when I'm traveling. I did take out my corner rounder though, and I forgot that. And I've noticed that a couple of the sketches this time really needed the corner rounder. I've got one little edge here that's not quite straight. I just need to cut it off a little bit. All right. So we've got these 2 pages laid out. And in looking back at my sketch, the only other thing that's going to be a little different is they've got a 4x6 mat here and here. That's to add a little extra color. And then the rest is going to be covered with photos. So I did pull 2 of the mats out of the mat pack that came with the Noteworthy Days. Now, I know that it's bothersome to a lot of people to see this design on here. But when I put a 4x6 picture on here, this is going to be covered up. Actually, it'll be a 5.5 by 3.5 picture on there. And I'm going to butt these mats right up against that border along the bottom. We'll see how well this one's going to fit. I'm needing a 4x6 space here. You know, maybe I ought to measure these mats and see how big they really are. Because it looks like it's bigger than 4x6. It is. It's a 4.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to need to cut a little off of these to make them fit that space appropriately. And I'm cutting off a little top and bottom, so when I put my picture on there, that white is not going to show through from those words. And then I'll cut off a little side to side as well. And I'm just trying to make this a 4x6 mat. And then my picture that'll go on there will be a 5.5 by 3.5. I wish I had pictures with me so you could see what it's going to look like, because I think finished, this one is going to be a really nice looking layout. The pictures are going to really be the stars of this page. There are some embellishment clusters and a title on here as well. That's where I have a hard time with no pictures, because I don't really know what embellishments I need to use, nor do I really know what title I'm going to have just yet. But I can always look through my map pack and see if I have any other titles available. And I'm sliding these out to the outside edge. One thing I have found with these map packs is the titles and the ones for noteworthy days are fantastic. They're very versatile. They give you a lot of wiggle room, I guess. So let me see what I've got left in here. If any of them are appropriate for the title spot. If they're not, I'll just wait until I get my photos. That Life Memories photos is good, but I really need, for this layout, a title that goes side to side. Living my best life. That's kind of pretty. Kind of big though. All right. Well, I'm not going to add a title, nor am I going to add embellishments. But man, look how fast that page came together. All we did was punch a couple of borders for the bottom, cut a little border for the top, and then a 6-inch strip here. And then we used a couple of photo mats for 4x6 mats here. You could have cut paper to do that just as easily. But I did want to bring in some of this lighter blue to correspond with this. And I did that using these mats that will have photos on them. So that is the virtual crop sketch number 4 for January 2025. Until next time, happy scrapping.